I never imagined that discovering a wrinkled plane ticket in my wife's jacket pocket would shatter the life I'd carefully constructed over 8 years. I'm Jace Harrow, a 34-year-old machinery technician at a lumber mill in Boise, Idaho. My job involves fixing massive, thundering machines that transform raw timber into finished lumber. It's reliable work that keeps both my hands and mind engaged. Born and raised here, I come from a family of craftsmen. My father, a skilled carpenter, taught me the intricacies of furniture assembly before I could even write my name properly. That's the essence of who I am. Down to earth, practical, someone who finds satisfaction in understanding the mechanics of things. Marina Voss and I first crossed paths at a downtown career fair during a time when we were both trying to find our footing in life. Now 32, she works as a data analyst at a logistics firm not far from my mill. She's brilliant with numbers and always seeking the next challenge. Our connection was immediate. We moved in together, tied the knot, and bought a modest house on the outskirts of town. Nothing extravagant, just a simple 2-bedroom with a weathered porch we always talked about renovating. We'd spend evenings there, nursing cheap beers and planning road trips that remained dreams. Life seemed perfect, or so I believed. Recently, though, things have changed. Marina's grown distant. She barely speaks during meals, constantly checks her phone, and always finds reasons to leave early. She blames it on work pressure, increased business travel, and long hours at the office. I didn't question it. Isn't that what love means? Giving your partner space when they need it? But everything changed last Friday while doing laundry. As I was about to wash her favorite gray coat, the one she wears everywhere, something tumbled out onto the laundry room floor. A plane ticket. From Boise to Las Vegas. From 2 months ago, when she claimed to be attending a work conference in Seattle. But what really caught my eye was the name. It wasn't hers. The ticket belonged to someone named D. Langston. My heart sank. I stood frozen, staring at the ticket, my hands trembling as if I'd touched something forbidden. Who was D. Langston? Why did Marina have someone else's ticket hidden in her coat? My mind began connecting dots. All those late nights, the vague explanations she'd given me. I tried convincing myself it was nothing significant, maybe just a colleague's misplaced ticket. But in my gut, I knew there was more to it. A chilling sense of betrayal began seeping into my core. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I grabbed her shared tablet, the one she uses for her data analysis work, and opened her email. She hadn't logged out. Rookie mistake. There was a thread with this Derek Langston guy. Subject line, excited for Vegas. I scrolled, my hands shaking, and each word felt like a dagger to my chest. Hey, beautiful, don't forget that red dress I adore. Reserved us a luxury suite at the Bellagio. Meet you at departures. Then came a photo attachment. Marina, radiant and carefree, pressed against some tall, well-groomed businessman in an expensive suit, standing beside a gleaming hotel pool with a vibrant Vegas lights illuminating the background. Not Seattle, not a conference. Vegas with him. Before we dive deeper into this gut-wrenching revelation, let me pause for a moment. Where are you reading this from? Share your location in the comments below. Let me know you're there. And if you're already invested in this story, if you're wondering what happened next, hit subscribe. Stay with me because this is merely the beginning, and believe me, it gets even more intense. I struggled to breathe normally. That image was seared into my memory, her genuine smile, his possessive embrace. I knew confrontation was inevitable, but she was already gone, supposedly on another business trip. Said she'd return Sunday. 48 hours to simmer in this betrayal. 2 days to question everything about our marriage. I placed the ticket on our kitchen counter like a silent accusation, waiting for her return. Whatever happened next, I wasn't prepared, but I sure as hell wasn't backing down. So there I sat, that damning plane ticket mocking me from the kitchen counter, Marina's correspondence with Derek Langston still glowing on the tablet screen. Sleep evaded me that night. Every house noise sounded like her early return, ready to feed me more lies. I paced endlessly between rooms, mentally cataloging every business trip she'd taken this past year. Seattle, Portland, Denver, all those destinations she'd mentioned so casually, while I, the devoted husband, had packed her travel lunches. By dawn, I was exhausted but wired, running on black coffee and raw emotion. Yet I couldn't let this rest. I needed to uncover how deep this deception ran. I reached for the tablet again, thinking her carelessness might reveal more secrets. Diving into her inbox, I pushed past mundane work emails until something caught my eye. A folder marked field reports. Seemed harmless enough, like standard corporate documentation. But appearances deceive. When I opened it, my stomach lurched. There were countless emails from Derek, stretching back over half a year. And Vegas wasn't their only rendezvous. One from just last month jumped out at me, titled Boise in Tonight. My heart stopped. That's practically in our backyard. She claimed she was working late that night, facing some crucial shipping deadline. I'd even played the supportive husband, delivering coffee to her office like an oblivious fool. I clicked it open. That black lace number is still on my mind, he wrote. 8 p.m. sharp. Room 214. Don't forget the key card I gave you. Key card? What key card? Despite my trembling hands, I pressed on, each discovery feeling like another twist of the knife. 3 weeks back, there was an email with an attachment. I steeled myself and opened it. The image showed a dimly lit bar in Denver, capturing Marina pressed close to Derek, his hand intimately placed on her lower back, her laughter caught mid-moment. A neon sign blazed behind them, Mile High Lounge. She'd sworn that trip was just a training workshop. I could still recall her cheerful voice, complaining about the tedium, claiming she'd rather be home with me. But the final blow came from an email sent mere days ago, while I was repairing equipment at the mill. Subject line, this weekend. Derek's message read, cabins all set. Just us, complete privacy. Tell him it's another Seattle trip, he'll never suspect. Tell him, meaning me. They were orchestrating their affair right under my nose, mocking my trust, while I remained blissfully ignorant. The tablet slipped from my grasp onto the couch as my chest constricted painfully. I staggered to our bedroom, frantically searching her dresser for the mentioned keycard. The sock drawer yielded nothing but the usual items. Then, beneath a stack of unused scarves, my fingers contacted something solid. A small envelope. Inside lay a Boise keycard, its golden emblem gleaming mockingly. Tucked alongside it, a note in his handwriting. Keep this safe. D. I collapsed onto the bed, the damning keycard pressing painfully into my palm. This wasn't some casual affair. This was an elaborate double life, carefully orchestrated through anonymous hotel rooms and shadowy bars, with deceptions accumulating like a suffocating wall around me. I contemplated calling her immediately, unleashing my fury through the phone, but she was already miles away with him. Instead, I marched to the garage, retrieved a hammer from my toolbox, and nearly shattered that tablet into fragments. Something stopped me just before impact. I needed evidence. Needed to witness her expression when I confronted her with everything. But here's what made my blood run cold. As I sat there, gripping that hammer, the doorbell pierced the silence. Dead of night, darkness everywhere. Who could possibly be here now? I moved silently to the window, peering through the slats. A figure in a dark hoodie stood motionless on my porch, face obscured, hands buried in pockets. The bell rang again, followed by aggressive knocking. My heart thundered in my chest. Could this be Derek? Had he somehow discovered I knew? Or worse, had he dispatched someone to ensure my silence? I remained perfectly still, barely breathing, watching as the figure lingered before finally retreating into the darkness. A minute later, an engine roared to life, headlights cutting through the night like searchlights. I remained frozen, the keycard still clutched in my grip, realizing I might have uncovered something far more sinister. This wasn't just infidelity anymore. This felt more dangerous, more threatening, like I discovered something malevolent lurking beneath the surface. That night, after the mysterious visitor disappeared, sleep eluded me completely. The Boise keycard mocked me from the coffee table like a sinister talisman, challenging me to act. The memory of that knock haunted me, along with the hooded figure's concealed face and the menacing sound of that departing vehicle. Was it Derek checking if I'd discovered their secret? Or someone else connected to whatever web Marina had entangled us in? By Sunday morning, exhaustion had set in, but I was done waiting. She'd be returning from her fabricated Seattle trip, and I was finished playing the ignorant husband. I needed confrontation, answers, truth. I spent the day preparing, stalking through the house like a restless predator. The tablet displaying those incriminating emails remained open on the counter, while the hammer waited silently in the garage where I'd abandoned it. I even excavated an old baseball bat from the depths of the closet, positioning it near the entrance in case my nocturnal visitor decided to make another appearance. When the clock struck 6, the sound of tires crushing gravel announced her arrival. My heartbeat accelerated, pounding like a war drum in my ears. She strolled in with practiced nonchalance, tossing her purse onto the hall table as if everything was perfectly normal. "Hey, babe," she called out, her voice weary but light from the supposed flight. "How's your weekend been?" I remained silent initially. Instead, I gestured toward the kitchen table where I'd arranged my findings. The Las Vegas ticket, the hotel key card, a printed capture of that damning Denver bar photograph. Her gaze darted to the evidence, and I detected a momentary crack in her composure before she recovered with a manufactured smile. "What's all this, Jace?" she questioned, moving closer, assuming a defensive stance as if I were the transgressor. I maintained my position against the counter, arms folded, and unleashed my accusations. "Las Vegas or Seattle? Marina? Which lie were you living 2 months ago? And spare me any confusion stories. The emails tell a different tale." The color drained from her face, her mouth working soundlessly as she searched for an explanation that wouldn't come. She collapsed into a chair, her eyes moving from the ticket to my face. "Fine," she whispered, defeat in her tone. "You figured it out. It's Derek. Been happening for 7 months. I didn't want you to discover it this way." "Discover it this way?" That's all she could offer? I advanced, my hands clenched tight. "So every trip, every late night, every deadline excuse, you were sneaking around with him?" She nodded slowly, almost dismissively. "Derek's not like you, Jace. He understands me. He's ambitious, forward-thinking. You're just here, fixing machines, going nowhere." Her words struck like physical blows, but I maintained my composure, barely. I questioned her about the key card, the Boise Inn, mere minutes from our home. Her expression shifted from shock to anger. "How did you find that?" she demanded, as if I had violated some boundary by exposing her deceptions. I released a harsh laugh. "Your tablet was wide open, Marina. You're not as clever as you think." She jumped up abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor, and for a moment I thought she might flee. Instead, she grabbed her purse, began pacing, rambling about my lack of understanding, about how Derek made her feel alive. I silenced her. "Leave. Now. Take your things and go." She stood motionless, her eyes widening as if witnessing something impossible. "You can't be serious," she stammered, her voice trembling with disbelief. "I've never been more serious," I replied firmly. "I won't be your fallback option anymore." The fight seemed to drain from her instantly. Without another word, she marched upstairs, yanked out a large suitcase from our shared closet, and began frantically stuffing her belongings inside. I watched from the doorframe as she dismantled our shared life with mechanical efficiency. Suddenly, she paused, turned around, and retrieved something from her designer purse. It was a thick, unmarked envelope sealed tight. She tossed it carelessly onto our bed. "This belongs to you," she said, her voice glacial. "I knew you'd want it sooner or later." I remained still, watching as she zipped her suitcase closed and dragged it downstairs. The taxi arrived precisely 10 minutes later. She departed without a backward glance, the vehicle's wheels stirring up clouds of dust as it disappeared. I remained rooted in place, surrounded by the oppressive silence of our home, broken only by the steady drone of the refrigerator. That mysterious envelope still lay on the bed, like an unexploded device waiting to detonate. Finally gathering my courage, I seized it and tore it open. Inside, I found a substantial stack of bills, roughly $1,000, accompanied by a folded note. Her elegant handwriting contained just 3 words: "You were enough." My insides twisted violently. What game was she playing? Was this her way of expressing remorse? Or just another cruel jab? Then I spotted something else nestled beneath the money. A pristine business card for Derek Langston, Senior Logistics Manager. The reverse side bore a handwritten message: "Call if you dare." I recoiled from it instantly. What was the point of calling? To face his mockery? Or was this connected to my mysterious visitor, part of some elaborate scheme? The room began to spin, forcing me to sink onto the bed, while the baseball bat stood sentinel by the front door and darkness crept in around me. Marina might be gone, but this ordeal wasn't finished. Whatever she'd left behind, whatever Derek was orchestrating, I knew I was next in line. Marina's taxi had barely vanished when I secured the door, still clutching the envelope, while Derek's card seemed to mock me with its unspoken challenge. "You were enough," her note declared. Enough for what? To serve as her emotional punching bag while she pursued luxury with him? I dumped everything onto the kitchen table, bills scattering, and retrieved a beer. The house felt cavernous now, eerily vacant, each corner haunted by the ghost of her presence. Directionless, I sat there contemplating the card, debating whether to destroy it or dial the number and unleash my pent-up fury. The next morning slammed into me with brutal force. I stumbled into the mill, my eyes burning from sleeplessness, the machinery's constant drone drowning out my scattered thoughts. I focused on my tasks, tightening bolts, inspecting gears, anything to keep my mind occupied. During break, my phone vibrated. A bank notification. I opened it, and my stomach plummeted. Our shared savings account, painstakingly built for home repairs and a potential vacation, had been decimated. $15,000 vanished. Withdrawn Friday, the same day she departed. I immediately called the bank, my voice unsteady in the break room. Their response was clinical, an authorized transfer under her name. Nothing they could do. She'd robbed me blind while I was searching for a keycard. Rage consumed me. I skipped my lunch break and drove straight to her logistics company downtown, the card still weighing heavy in my pocket like an unspoken threat. The young receptionist, absorbed in his headset, barely acknowledged me when I demanded Marina Voss's whereabouts. "She's not here today," he muttered, fingers dancing across his keyboard. I slammed my palm against his desk. "Get Derek Langston. Now." He jumped, dialed quickly, and moments later, there he was, emerging from the back office. Tall, polished, wearing that same arrogant expression from the Denver photograph. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "What's your issue, Harrow?" He drawled, his tone condescending. I invaded his space, close enough to detect his expensive cologne. "Where's my money, Langston?" 15 grand she stole from me. He smirked, unfazed. "That's between you and her, buddy. Not my problem to solve." I yearned to erase that smug expression, but he straightened up, lowering his voice ominously. "Walk away, Jace. You don't want to dig deeper here. Trust me." His gaze shifted behind me, and I turned to see 2 security guards approaching, hands hovering near their belts. I didn't wait for their intervention. Jabbed a finger at Derek one final time. "This isn't finished," I growled before storming out, leaving the receptionist staring after me like he'd witnessed an impending brawl. Back at home, I was unraveling, pacing restlessly in the garage and taking my frustration out on an old tire I'd been meaning to repair. $15,000. Half of my life's savings gone in an instant, snatched away like loose change from pocket. Desperate for an escape from this downward spiral, I reached out to Blair Tilden. He's my high school friend, 35 now, a mechanical wizard who operates a repair shop on the other side of town. Lives simply in a trailer with his loyal dog, Rusty, and keeps his refrigerator stocked with budget beer. Despite not seeing him for months, he answered promptly on the second ring. "Man, you sound terrible," he chuckled. "Get over here. Just bring yourself." Within an hour, I was slumped on his worn-out couch, Rusty snoozing by my feet, nursing a cold beer. Blair simply listened as I poured out everything. The mysterious ticket, the email trail, the stolen money, Derek's arrogant face. When I finished, he let out a low whistle. "That's some serious drama you're caught in. Think he's planning something else?" I took another sip, shrugging. "Can't say, but that card he left is warning. Feels like there's something bigger than just my wife's infidelity." Blair cracked open another beer, nodding. "Well, you're here now. Tomorrow, we'll tear into my old Chevy. Clear your head. Working with engines beats dwelling on problems." He was spot on. The next day, we immersed ourselves in the old car, arms deep in grease, country music blaring. For a while, I forgot about my depleted bank account and broken heart. But driving home that night, my headlights piercing through Boise's darkness, I spotted it. A black sedan parked opposite my house, engine silent, seemingly empty. Could it be the same car from that late-night disturbance? I slowed down, heart racing but kept moving. Pulled into my driveway, glanced back. It remained there, silent, observing. Derek's warning echoed. "You don't want to stir this pot." Too late, you bastard. I was already entangled, and something told me the stolen money was merely scratching the surface of whatever conspiracy I'd stumbled into. That black sedan haunted me like a persistent shadow, appearing across my house night after night. Sometimes I'd catch glimpses of it in my rearview mirror, a block behind, lights dimmed, as if waiting for me to make a wrong move. I started double-checking the locks, keeping my old baseball bat within arm's reach of my bed. But I refused to let fear paralyze me. Marina had already taken half my savings and shattered my trust. I wouldn't let her steal my peace of mind too. So I took action. First order of business was purging the house of her presence. Listed her beloved couch and that ancient dresser on eBay, watching with satisfaction as strangers carted them away for a few $100s. Repainted the living room in a bold blue shade she'd always despised but I'd secretly wanted. Each stroke of paint felt like washing away her lingering presence. Work became my sanctuary. I enrolled in an advanced maintenance program at the local community college, attending classes after my mill shifts. Dove into learning hydraulic system diagnostics, the kind of expertise that could lead to a foreman position eventually. Balancing 12-hour workdays with coursework was challenging, but I welcomed the distraction. It kept my mind occupied, kept thoughts of the mysterious sedan at bay. Blair remained a constant, insisting I spend weekends at a shop. We'd tinker with carburetors, drink beer, and watch Rusty chase squirrels around the yard. He'd joke about Marina, dubbing her the logistics queen, drawing genuine laughter from me for the first time in weeks. Gradually, the void she left began feeling less devastating. Then Sasha Newell entered the picture. Blair made the introduction during the mill's yearly barbecue, a casual gathering in the parking lot complete with burgers and a bounce house for employees' children. At 33, she's a skilled electrician responsible for maintaining the plant's complex wiring systems. She has a son, Milo, an energetic 5-year-old with an infectious smile and missing front teeth. Sasha carries herself with quiet confidence, her hair pulled back practically, hands bearing the marks of her trade from years of cable work. We connected over our mutual dislike of overcooked hot dogs, discussing circuit breakers and gear ratios. Before I knew it, Milo was pulling at my sleeve, asking for a game of catch. I agreed, and we spent an hour in the grass, his giggles filling the air with each missed catch. Sasha observed us, a knowing smile on her face, commenting that I had a natural way with kids. It evolved into a comfortable pattern. Sasha and I would rendezvous after our shifts, taking Milo to either the park or batting cages. While he practiced his swings, shouting with joy at each successful hit, we'd rest against the fence, exchanging stories about workplace mishaps and mill updates. She'd been managing solo since Milo's father disappeared, expressing contentment in her independence while welcoming companionship. I admired that quality in her, the absence of pressure, her easygoing nature. One evening at her place, a snug duplex scattered with children's toys, Milo dozed off on the couch. She brought me coffee, settling close beside me. I contemplated revealing everything about the sedan and the card, but something held me back. I worried my complications might drive her away. That's when things took an unsettling turn. As I was departing through the alley toward my truck, I detected footsteps trailing me. They were subtle, just quiet crunches on gravel, maintaining my exact rhythm. When I quickened my pace, so did they. My pulse raced as I whirled around, hand gripping the bat concealed in my jacket, prepared to defend myself. But the alley appeared deserted, save for dancing shadows near the dumpster and a cat darting beneath a fence. I remained motionless, my breath visible in the chilly air, listening intently for any sound. Silence. I rushed to my truck and sped away, scanning my mirrors. Though the sedan was nowhere in sight, I caught a glimpse of movement, a figure vanishing around the corner, too swift to identify. Could it be the same person from my porch? Derek's phantom, following my every move? The following morning brought something more disturbing. After my shift, I discovered a plain white envelope nestled among the junk mail in my box. No postage, no address. Inside lay a single photograph. It was a grainy, surveillance-style black and white shot showing me outside Sasha's duplex the previous night, glancing down that alley. The back bore an ominous message in black marker. "Keep your nose clean, Harrow." My heart plummeted. Someone wasn't merely observing me. They knew my whereabouts and associations. This had escalated beyond Marina. It was becoming intensely personal, and the walls were closing in. That surveillance photo in my mailbox, capturing me at Sasha's with that menacing warning, "Keep your nose clean, Harrow," shattered my sense of security. Sleep eluded me that night. I remained vigilant on my couch, lights extinguished, baseball bat ready, watching the front door, expecting an intrusion any moment. Could Derek be behind this? Or perhaps some hired muscle meant to silence me? I repeatedly examined the photograph, scrutinizing every shadowy detail, but found no answers. Just my unsuspecting face, caught in surveillance I never detected. By dawn, I'd reached two conclusions. Sasha would remain in the dark until I understood the situation better, and I refused to remain an easy target. I secured the photo in my bedroom lockbox, grabbed my car keys, and departed for work, scrutinizing every vehicle I passed. The following days crept by, tense but without incident. I immersed myself in work, baseball, and time with Sasha and Milo. We'd practice batting, cook outdoors in her modest yard, listening to Milo's animated superhero stories while Sasha tended the grill. Sometimes I catch myself enjoying these moments, feeling almost normal, until memories of that mysterious sedan and footsteps in the alley would intrude. Then, during a wet Thursday evening, everything changed. I was carrying groceries from my truck through the rain when I spotted her. Marina stood on my porch, drenched completely, her hair clinging to her face, eyes vacant from apparent sleepless nights. She appeared vulnerable and weak, drastically different from the woman who'd betrayed my trust and absconded with my money. "Jace," she whispered, her voice quivering, "I need to speak with you." The grocery bags nearly slipped from my grasp. "What are you doing at my place?" I growled, brushing past her to unlock the door. She trailed behind me, water dripping onto my hardwood floors, wringing her hands nervously. "Derek's vanished," she blurted, the words tumbling out like a rehearsed speech. "Lost his job over some fraud scandal. I don't know the specifics. He left me, just disappeared, leaving me with nothing." I stood motionless, keys still clutched in my hand, groceries forgotten on the counter. "Why should I care?" I replied, my voice dangerously quiet. "After everything you did?" She winced but stepped closer. "I screwed up badly, Jace. I know that. I am truly sorry. I want another chance. To repair what we had." I let out a harsh, bitter laugh. "Repair? You embezzled $15,000, Marina. You were sleeping with some corporate suit for months behind my back. There's nothing left to salvage." Her face crumpled, tears mingling with the raindrops on her cheeks. She reached into her coat, producing a soggy bundle of bills, maybe $5,000, and thrust it toward me. "This is everything I have left," she pleaded. "Take it. I was wrong to steal from you. Please, just one more chance." I stared at the money, then at her, my stomach churning. Part of me yearned to believe her, that familiar pain resurfacing, but the image of that key card flashed in my mind, along with Derek's smug grin. "No," I said, pushing the money away. "You chose your path. Now walk it." She remained seated, burying her face in her hands. I was about to demand she leave when the lights suddenly died. Complete darkness. A thunderous boom rattled the house's foundation. I activated my phone's flashlight. "Power outage," I muttered to myself. Marina raised her head, eyes wide with fear, barely audible. "He's watching us." I froze, light beam darting to her face. "What did you say?" She hugged herself, rocking back and forth. "Derek, he's stalking me. Threatened to make me suffer if I came back to you. He thinks you're investigating his activities." My blood ran cold. The mysterious sedan. The threatening photo. Before I could probe further, a violent crash echoed through the house, glass breaking somewhere behind us. I whirled around, heart racing, grabbing the baseball bat from the hallway. "Don't move," I whispered, inching toward the noise. The kitchen window lay shattered, rain pouring in, a brick resting on the floor. Carved into it, crude and deep, "Last chance." I stood there, water pooling around my feet, bat shaking in my grip. Marina's frightened whimper broke the silence. "He knows I'm here," she choked out. "He's coming for both of us." I turned to face her, our eyes meeting in the darkness, illuminated only by my phone's glow. This had evolved beyond Marina's troubles now. Whatever sinister force Derek was evading, whatever information he suspected I possessed, it had followed her straight to my doorstep. And here we were, trapped, with the deafening thunder drowning everything else out, while something more menacing drew near. The brick lay ominously on my kitchen floor, its crude message last chance etched into its surface, while rain poured relentlessly through the shattered window. Marina cowered in the corner, tears streaming down her face, mumbling incoherently about Derek's imminent arrival. I strengthened my grip on the bat, using my phone's flashlight to pierce the darkness as thunder violently shook the house. With the power still down, every shadow seemed to take on a life of its own. I cautiously approached the window, scanning the storm-ravaged scene outside. Nothing but torrential rain and wind-whipped trees. Then lightning illuminated the yard, revealing a black sedan parked by the curb, its wipers fighting against the downpour. Someone sat inside, a dark figure, watching my house. I retreated quickly, my breathing heavy. "He's here," I whispered to Marina. She jumped up, desperately clutching my arm. "We have to escape Jace now." Before I could respond, headlights swept across the room as the sedan pulled into my driveway. A car door slammed, audible even through the storm's fury. I pushed Marina toward the hallway. "Back door," I commanded. "Run." We fled. She slipped on the wet floor as I half-carried her past the garage. I snatched a wrench from my toolbox en route, wielding the bat in one hand and the tool in the other. The back door groaned open, and we stumbled into the yard, our feet sinking into the muddy ground. Footsteps approached from behind, measured and threatening. I spun around, pushing Marina behind a shed. "Don't move," I ordered, raising the bat. A figure emerged through the rain, tall and hooded, hands empty but advancing quickly. Lightning flashed, revealing his face. Not Derek, but an older man, maybe mid-40s, with a scarred cheek and cold, experienced eyes. He stopped several paces away, rain cascading from his hood. "Harrow," he growled. "Drop it. You're way out of your depth." I gripped tighter. "Who are you? What does Derek want?" He smirked, cocking his head. "Ask your wife. She signed those papers." "Papers?" I glanced at Marina, huddled in the mud, her eyes reflecting sheer panic. She shook her head frantically. "I have no idea what he's talking about," she cried out. His response was a chilling, harsh laugh. "Stop the act, Voss. The offshore accounts? Your signature's plastered everywhere. Derek's vanished, but federal agents are closing in. You're the remaining thread they need to pull." My mind reeled. Offshore accounts? Financial fraud? This wasn't just about an affair. She'd been involved in something criminal, something that could destroy us both. The man advanced, drawing a knife from his sleeve, its steel catching the storm's light. "Final chance," he snarled. "Leave now, or neither of you makes it out." I acted instinctively, swinging the bat with full force, striking his arm. He let out a pained grunt, the knife flying into the wet grass. But he charged forward, slamming me into the mud. We wrestled violently, trading blows, my wrench slipping away as he gained the upper hand. Marina's scream pierced the air, followed by a dull crack. His body went slack, collapsing beside me. Marina stood above us, shaking uncontrollably, clutching a blood-stained shovel. I scrambled to my feet, gasping for air. "Did I kill him?" She whispered, horrified. I checked his neck. A weak pulse remained. "He's alive," I said, grabbing her wrist. "We're contacting the police. Right now." Later that night, my property buzzed with emergency vehicles, officers escorting the semi-conscious attacker to a patrol car. Marina sat wrapped in a blanket on my sofa, confessing everything. She'd assisted Derek in laundering money through fictitious shipping records, believing it was just a minor scheme, unaware of its massive scale. Federal investigators were already pursuing Derek, who'd dispatched this enforcer to silence potential witnesses. Me, her, anyone who might speak up. She lost everything. Her career vanished with the company's collapse. Her assets were confiscated. Her freedom now hinged on a plea agreement. I retained my house and truck, rebuilding my life with Sasha and Milo, creating something genuine. Marina became a shadow of herself, drifting between court appearances, hollow and broken. Deception shattered her world, leaving me wounded but resilient. Life taught its harshest lesson. Trust is a dangerous game, and betting on lies costs more than anyone can anticipate. The story concludes here. Was this ending what you expected, or did it surprise you? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this tale, remember to like and subscribe for more thrilling stories. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.